Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. You know what time it is, update time once again in the Battle Realm, and I'm here with everything that you need to know about the March 2025 update for MCOC. Let's jump right in, starting off with number 1, the brand new champions for March, which are Jean Grey and Bastion. Now, I have been excited for these champs, Jean in particular, for several months now, actually way back since December at the Creator Summit. They told us that Jean and Bastion would be coming to the game in March. Very, very excited for both these champs. Now, both of them were featured, if I recall correctly, in X-Men 97. If you haven't seen that, you absolutely should go watch it. It is a fantastic show. Now, I think by now, the official social media accounts should have revealed like the animations and the special attacks for both these champs, and as usual, they are fantastic. But like always, I can't really say anything about them, of course, due to the embargo. But I will tease that Jean in particular has a mechanic that is brand new to the game, and it is something very cool. I really hope that we see more of it in the future, but I will kind of leave you with that. Number 2, we're getting a brand new Saga. The Deathless Saga is over. Really felt like the Deathless Saga never really got started, it didn't gain much traction. I don't know if you kind of feel the same, but either way, the Dark Phoenix Saga is going to be starting in March. Now, this is a curious name for a new saga. You know, we do have a Phoenix in the game, but she isn't dark, although she is quite bad. So not really sure what the plan's on here. As you can see, details on this are very scarce. But typically when it comes to things like this, like big saga announcements, they intentionally put very little in the patch notes so that they can announce it all on the live stream. So if you haven't checked out the live stream or the replay of it by now, I would encourage you to do so. There's probably way more information about the saga in there. Number 3, we're getting a brand new Everest quest again in March. It's called the Ordeal. It is a remake of the Grandmaster's Gauntlet, which, in my humble opinion, is still one of the single best quests that Kabam has ever released into MCOC. So the deal here is that all of the defenders in the Grandmaster's Gauntlet have been upgraded. They are all now 7-star rank 4 defenders, and your attack team is going to be limited to 7-star champions only, which means no more Hercules, no more Ghost, etc., etc. Now, to the best of my knowledge, there are no other nodes or links or traps, kind of like what they added with the Epic of Pain quest. This should just be a straight upgrade of the Grandmaster's Gauntlet with just beefier defenders and higher attack values. Now, one thing I do want to let you in on about this quest is that I have already started working on a planning sheet for this quest. Again, it's called the Ordeal. I'm sure it's not called Behold the Ordeal. That feels like a typo. It's got to just be the Ordeal. Anyways, I'm working on a planning sheet for this, very similar to what I did for the Crucible, if you remember that. I've already lined up several very skilled creators who have agreed to put in their teams and their plans for this quest into the sheet, so you can help plan out your team as well. So look for that sheet, that video, in the coming days as I have time to put it out there. By the way, can I just say that Kabam has been absolutely killing it with solo content recently, and for me, solo content is really my favorite thing to do in the game. I do enjoy war, but solo content's kind of like my bread and butter. And the last few months, it feels like we've really been spoiled for choice between the Karina challenges, the Epic of Pain. Now we have this. Act 9.2 is coming at some point, I'm sure, as well. So it's a really good time to be playing MCOC if you're really into PvE content. So number 4, starting with Raid Week in March, your alliance will be able to enroll in a new type of raid called Nightmare Raids, which is really just an upgraded difficulty version of the existing raid map. Now, these were shown off to us back in December again at the Creator Summit. We got some hands-on testing with them. It was really cool. They split all of us up into these little breakout groups, and then we went around to different stations. And for the Nightmare Raids one, it was really neat because we got to sit in the room, we got to test them hands-on, and the devs that were responsible for creating these raids were sitting there with us, watching and listening to us test them out. And we would just, say something out loud, they would make a note. We were able to provide feedback directly to them. It was really, really neat. Now, the idea here is that the nodes and the roll force charges and all that stuff that you are used to in raids are pretty much the same, but the defenders themselves are much more difficult and may require specialized attackers or specialized utilities. So think of A defender in Nightmare raids being like Korg, for example, so you'd want to bring a Korg counter, or Man-Thing might be a defender. Champions like that, which are going to require, more than just, taking any champ you want in and just, tappy, swipey, and then pick up your 10 Valiant Crystals in the raids chest. So speaking of rewards, my understanding is that the rewards for this are going to be better. It's definitely going to require more planning, and let's be honest, it's probably going to require more revives, so I expect the rewards to be much better as well. No details on those here, of course. Raids is overdue for a rewards refresh, I think, so hopefully this kind of, takes the place for that for alliances who choose to do them. Number 5 is the International Women's Day celebration for 2025. Now, I don't think Kabam did anything for this last year. I could be misremembering. Time is like an illusion to me at the moment. But in the past, they've done, some sort of quest or like a challenge, and there have been like titles and profile pictures. I think 2 years ago, Kat Murdoch got one of her drawings put in the game as a profile picture, which was very, very cool. So this year, they're doing something completely different. They have 7 female developers and content creators, and each person has picked a different champion that they'd like to see reworked or buffed this year. And players will complete solo objectives and take part in a realm event to determine which champion out of those 7 is going to get the buff this year. Now, I don't know who is participating in this. I have a few ideas, of course, but I can think of several female champions that need buffs. X23 and Morningstar are the 2 that come to mind first. So very excited to throw my support behind whichever creator or developer has picked X23 or Morningstar. Very, very excited to see the other champions that are included in this and then find out which one is actually going to get the buff. Number 6, our long national nightmare appears to be coming towards an end. Blue Team Cyclops buff has been mentioned in the patch notes for March of 2025, and he will be available via this double track event, which will start sometime in March. Now, if you don't know what the double track events are, there is like a free track that everybody will have access to, and then if you pay some money, you get access to the platinum track, which has a lot of juicier rewards. Now, in the past, the cost for these double tracks, for the platinum track version rather, has been $30. They are always worth it. You get so much stuff, way more than the money you put in. So if you are willing and able, they are definitely worth it, and I would encourage you to do so. And at the end of this one, if you log in every day and complete the track, you're going to be getting a free copy of 7-star Blue Cyclops. Presumably he will be buffed by then. Now, one thing that isn't clear here, obviously, because we only have one sentence here with which to use for this part of the video, one thing that isn't clear here is how long the double track is going to be for, because in the past they've had like 30-day double tracks, which would probably put his buff out in like April. But they could also do like a 60 or 90-day double track, which they've done throughout the summer before too. So if it's like a 90-day double track, that puts his buff out in like June, which would kind of be a bummer, but like, better late than never, I guess. I'm really hoping that it's just a 30-day double track. So we'll see kind of where that goes. Either way, I am very much looking forward to seeing what they did with Blue Cyclops. As a reminder, not only is he getting a brand new kit, he's also getting brand new VFX, brand new animations as well. So really hope they lean heavily into the beam. Gone, hopefully, is that weird like back kickflip thing that he does on his heavy attack. I never really liked that. Next we can get rid of it on Hawkeye too. So yeah, very much looking forward to the Blue Cyclops buff, and hopefully it is here sooner rather than later. All right, number 7 is something called Eidol Essences. Now, if you recall back in like late last year, November, December timeframe, back when Isophene was announced, we were told that all of the new Eidol champs would have non-standard releases. So, similar maybe to the Deathless Chase, but definitely not like a standard champion release where you would just, we would get 2 a month and we would buy the crystals and grind the arena and stuff like that. These would be a little bit different. So Isophene, if you remember again, was part of the Realm event in December. And the next Eidol is going to be called Lumatrix. Now, to get Lumatrix, we're going to be collecting something called Eidol Essence, and for Lumatrix, the first one is Light Essence, and we'll be collecting these somehow throughout the game. I imagine this will be similar to kind of like the Pieces of the Deathless, where you have to play like, various quests, various game modes to gather enough of this light essence to purchase the champion. And there's probably going to be extras in like money offers, so potentially you could get the dupe right away, or you could just make up for whatever modes you don't like playing. Yeah, so details again are a bit scarce here. I do want to say that you're probably going to want to get Lumatrix, so definitely don't miss out on collecting this light essence. Number 8 is something they're calling Loki Charms. So also celebrated in March is St. Patrick's Day, and there will be a set of solo objectives to earn plenty of gold, pots of gold, one might even say, units, and a rainbow of ISO 8, as well as a user title, and then there will be offers to collect certain green champions. I love everything about this. There always have to be Loki Charms. That was probably the worst Irish accent you've ever heard in your lifetime. Please forget that I said that. And we're going to move on here to number 9, which are the level 66 through 70 rewards. Now, I don't know if they're revealing these on stream, but they should be visible in-game when the patch drops. Looks to include some juicy stuff here, including champions, plural. Now, if you've taken a look at the rewards for levels 61 to 65, you see that there are different rarities of Labyrinth Ultron, or Labtron as I call him typically. And I'm very curious what champions plural means for levels 66 through 70. Maybe 7-star Labtron could be in there. That's the only one that isn't available anywhere else. I'd probably lose my mind if they added Punisher to these level rewards, because Punisher, I've said this before, Punisher feels like the only truly unobtainable champion. He is only available typically through the Battleship crystals. He's been in a few like featured crystals or featured Cavalier crystals here and there, but like by and large, the rarest champion in the game is 6-star Punisher. So maybe they will finally be throwing us a bone and giving us access to lower rarity versions of Punisher. Who knows? Also looks like additional mastery points, plural, are also going to be included in these rewards. Very, very excited for additional mastery points, and I know exactly what I'm going to do with them. So yeah, hopefully again they will have teased these on the live stream. If not, these should be available for viewing in-game as soon as the patch drops next week. All right, last but certainly not least is this month's extensive list of bug fixes and improvements. You can see here there are quite a few. As usual, I'm only going to talk through a few of them. You can pause the video to read through them if you want. They should also be available on the official blog post with the patch notes if you want to scroll through them there. Now, the very first one that I want to talk about is one that is especially important to me, and that's this one here. Fixed an issue with Ironheart's Special 1 vulnerability decreasing damage dealt rather than increasing it. So I've talked about this on stream a few times. Somebody who I can't remember brought this up to me, and I'm so sorry for forgetting who it was. But they sent me a message and said, hey, did you know that this has been broken for some time? And I had no idea. Tested it out myself, forwarded it onto the team, and sure enough, it had been an issue since Ironheart was put into the game. So if you aren't familiar with how this works, whenever you use your Special 1 with Ironheart, it places this vulnerability passive on the opponent, which is supposed to decrease both their physical and their energy resistance. However, since she came to the game, the vulnerability passive has actually been increasing their resistance to energy and physical damage, which has had a detrimental effect on her damage output. So this bug fix goes live. I expect it to significantly affect, in a positive way, Ironheart's damage output. And I already have a video planned to do some sort of like damage comparison so we can see exactly what this means for her going forward. So really, really looking forward to this bug fix. All right, number 2, let's talk about this one here. Fixed an issue with the Grandmaster's Phase 4 being skippable if he's killed by a striker. Remember, only he can cheat. Don't know if this is the regular Grandmaster or the nameless Grandmaster. I'm probably thinking it's the former, because strikers did not exist when the original Grandmaster came out, and I have to imagine that the nameless Grandmaster was designed and or tested with strikers in mind. So If you have used, this kind of cheat, if you will, to kill the Grandmaster in Act 6 with a striker, awesome job, but it will not be available for anybody to do going forward. I don't want to call out any one of these in particular, but there are a lot of fixes here for the brand new war map. So steady build-up nodes, steady now with the severe nodes, a lot of war map fixes, and with the war season starting in just a few days, makes me a little bit uneasy about how this first season with the new war map is going to go. I'm glad that they have found and fixed a lot of these bugs, but it does make me wonder how many haven't been found, and how many war or season losing bugs are going to be found mid-season. I really hope the answer is 0, and I hope that nothing happens and we have a very smooth season, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And then the last one I want to talk to here is this one: fixed an issue in which the attack increase for stunning reflection was scaling incorrectly and added a HUD icon to surface it as a Fury passive. So the one thing I really like about this fix and why it caught my eye was this thing here, surfacing the attack increase from stunning reflection as a Fury passive. So you can put stunning reflection on cooldown via an incinerate or a poison effect, and I think the new war map has a different version with a couple of other dot types. I think it might be like bleed and shock maybe. But anyways, whenever you put the node on cooldown, there's not really an indicator that the node is cooldown and that it is safe to stun the opponent. So now going forward, you will have a passive Fury icon on your side of the screen, which should indicate to you that it is safe to, yes, go in and stun the defender, and then you'll be able to time it better. As the Fury passive expires, you'll be able to know exactly when it is no longer safe to do that. So really, really like that. It's a good quality of life improvement there. Folks, that's going to do it for another jam-packed month in MCOC. Leave me a comment below telling me what you are most excited about coming to the game in March. Is it Jean Grey? Is it Bastion? Are you excited for the brand new rework of the Grandmaster's Gauntlet? Are you excited to finally get, hopefully, some news on the blue team Cyclops buff? Or are you like me and you're just happy that one of your favorite champions in the game is finally getting a very important bug fixed to her? So either way, again, let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already, please remember to click that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next video. I've got a bunch of stuff on my to-do list planned for the next week or two, and you don't want to miss out on that. As always, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again next time.